Well, hello everyone. I'm here with Zack Teague, and he is the chair of the Illinois National Parents Organization chapter. And thanks for joining us tonight, Zack. And how are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. It's a wonderful Tuesday here in Illinois. We've got cold weather. It was 19 degrees this morning, so we're just keeping it up, keeping it afloat here in Illinois.
So, Zack, you're the executive chair for the Illinois chapter. And how long has the chapter been around? And how long have you been involved with National Parents Organization?
Oh, I have been involved with National Parents Organizations since feels like October of 2019, 2020. So kind of a short time.
Yeah, so just kind of coming on board, and can you give us kind of a brief update? Sort of what's the state of things in Illinois, and what's been tried, and what's coming up for this legislative year.
Yeah. Well, in Illinois, we've had a lot of organizations attempt to make change, and we've had a lot of great efforts and a lot of great legislation has hit the legislatures, and none of it's passed, however, um, much to our lament. So I got geared up with NPO because I wanted to help create those changes in my state, and I wanted to find other people who had a stake in those changes. And I'm hoping that I can build on the message that NPO has, the mission that we have, and the resources that we have so that we can make those changes in Illinois.
Yeah, and certainly change is what we're after here. Are there any specific legislative actions that you're trying to take this year?
Yeah. Well, um, following the model legislation that NPO has and the previous iterations of the 50-50 rebuttable um, shared parenting time, which is that upon a custody matter or a divorce, everyone has a chance of equal parenting unless there's a really good reason not to, not just because of some flippant reason or some failure of the process or the fact that someone may or may not have an attorney, but just out of the gate, are you a fit parent? I am. Great. 50-50? You want to start from there? I do. That's wonderful. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean that's so much the crux of what we're trying to do nationally is when couples divorce or when people separate that children should have equal access to both parents in their lives. Is there anything specific in Illinois that's sort of keeping you there? I know a lot of states have they have their statutes that don't have the presumption of shared parenting, and that's often a big hurdle when we look at standard parenting plans that may only give one parent, every other weekend or a couple days here and there.
So currently, I do have 50-50 custody, and it is not the standard of the law in Illinois. And I'm blessed by that. Had a lot of what I would consider attacks on my 50-50 shared parenting from opportunities by my mother's, the mother of my children, and other instances and occurrences. But we're taking it in stride and we're working as hard as we can to maintain our families. And before I leave Illinois, if I ever do, or I'd like to make a mark on that so that other families, mothers and fathers alike, have the opportunity to be with their children. It's should be our right.
Well, that's definitely the standard that we should be going for. Currently, now, what is the standard parenting plan out there? Is there one standard sort of across the state, or is each county have their own standard? What are you seeing out there in Illinois?
So we have a lot of judges' discretion, uh, which would be, I guess, would be considered precedent. Legal standards for custody are have different measurements. We've got the 1 week, the one overnight a week, and the every other weekend model. We've got um, what I call the 5-2-2-5 split, which is an equal share. That's equal parenting time. That's what I currently have, where I have my children 5 days a week, and then their mother has them 2 days, and then I have them 2 days, and then she has them 5 days. It can be confusing, but it's with our communication of our love and our desire for our children, that we make it smooth. Um, what really helped Illinoisans was the income share model for child support purposes, which really reduces a lot of previous attempts to give one parent over the other a majority of parenting time. Because when you're looking at child support payments based on the incomes of both parents instead of just a share of custody, it kind of levels the playing field in any parent's desire to have more or less time with their children.
So the income share, was that a recent change out there, or was that something that's that's been on the books for a while?
I feel like that hit around 2018.
So yeah, not too long then, and you're already seeing some positive benefits to that change.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. It definitely sort of defeats, like I said, that initial attempt by any parent to reduce or become the primary share of time.
Yeah, certainly. Decision making ability and time and money with the children are sort of the three big areas that I think a lot of people fight over. And anytime that you can sort of level the playing field with any one of those factors, I think it brings a lot of calm to the situation.
Yeah. And previous to this volunteering that I'm doing with the National Parents Organization, I was a licensed child welfare specialist with the Department of Children and Family Services. I got to see a lot of negative things as it relates to families in Illinois, and I, it took that opportunity to see those things to really decide that I wasn't in a healthy relationship myself, and I had to get a divorce. And when I did, I was utterly frightened at the possibility of never seeing my children again. It was always on my forefront of my mind, and I didn't know how I was going to fare. And, I'm just grateful that 50-50 was an option for me. But since it is not the standard of the law, I would love to see it become that.
Yeah, we've certainly seen in the latest research that more than I think it's 30% parenting time has a significant positive impact on the children. Can you tell us a little bit more about maybe in general some of the things that you would see when working with kids, prior to your involvement with MPO?
Oh, wow. So many things. I mean, we've got the Department of Children and Family Services enters people's lives um, at the drop of a hat, and it makes drastic changes, and it really affects children in a traumatic way. As a permanency worker, my job was to make sure that children had a safe place to live while being away from their biological parents with the opportunity to return. But it very rarely happened. And most of my time, the 2 years that I worked in that role, I saw mostly parental rights terminations. I've got a lot of criticisms that I could talk about, but maybe we could share that for another time.
Yeah, certainly that's a rabbit hole that I think we could go down for a long time. But I mean, would you say that the way they're doing things is changing at all, or do you think that they're mostly staying the same?
Sadly, this year, COVID, this 2020 year has really impacted service provisions that the states provide, and it's actually I hope it's going to open the door for a lot of reform, because there's this new feeling to everything. In Illinois, we had a lot of difficulty with COVID on the child welfare side. Parents who are guaranteed access to their children who are in foster care were denied access to their children who are in foster care because of COVID. And it
Mm.
was like this administrative problem. How do we solve it? And a lot of parents and a lot of children were further traumatized by not having access to one another. And I think that out of that trauma is going to be born a lot of reasons to reform.
Yeah, certainly in any of these cases, we want to reduce the amount of trauma that kids experience because certainly trauma is not good for kids that are developing. Can you tell us a little bit about how the reforms that you're trying to get through in Illinois would help kids experience less trauma and be healthier for them?
We're on the ground floor right now, so I'm just building. I'm building on the amazing message the MPO has. I'm building on the membership that we already have, and I'm just trying to evolve and steadily grow. I've met with my local legislature, Keith Sommer. He represents the 88th district, I think, where I reside. I met with him, and he met with me and my wife and son, and it was a great conversation. Um, but I'm trying to build momentum, get new members, get people excited. I've got data collection initiatives that I want to do at the circuit district level. That would be at county courthouses. I'm working with a local university in the hopes to get interns to help me do that. Um, just legislative lobbying, grassroots lobbying. Do you know how to call your legislature? We'll train you. Let's do it. Let's make some calls. Do you want to write some letters? Let's do it. Let's send these letters. You want to send some emails? Do you want to get excited about helping parents and children be together? What else is there to be excited about? I hear so many people lamenting and decrying these abuses that they suffer, and they have no outlet. It appears that they have no outlet. They have this passion and they have this fire inside of them for the own children that they made. And where's the outlet? Where's the recourse? Well, it's here at the National Parents Organization, and we can do it. In Illinois, we can do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think a lot of times people think when they volunteer for something like this, they're giving some huge time commitment, or it's going to be really hard. But I think a lot of the volunteer opportunities that you have in the states are actually pretty easy, and you can volunteer kind of as little or as much time as you want. Is that what you're looking for in Illinois?
Absolutely. Some brief training of our messaging and our platform, and then let her rip. What's your strengths? Let's find out. Let's use them. What are you confident in? You want to make calls? You want to write letters? What gets you excited about this? Everybody has we have a shared trauma bond in being separated from our children for any length of time. And with that comes community. Out of that can come positive relationships with other adults and community that can be built upon. And we can work together and strengthen our families. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great to remind people that volunteering is pretty easy, and like I said, you can get involved as little or as much as you want. So, what's your biggest goal for this year coming up?
Just building. I want to get more members locally. I want to identify circuit districts and teams within them. I live in the 10th Judicial Circuit. That's about 6 counties, I believe. And I want to identify leadership at that level and then outward. I'm also want to build coalitions with other organizations in the state that already operate for these same efforts. Um, yeah, I think that's a good start.
So, Zach, tell us again in Illinois, how can people contact you, and how can people get involved with the National Parents Organization there at the state level?
Sure. In Illinois, you can send me an email, Zack Teague at sharedparenting.org. And if you would like to, you could call me or text me, 309-713-6527. We can get together and collaborate on every level.
Well, that's fantastic. And we certainly appreciate all your help and effort out there in Illinois as we work to bring shared parenting nationally across the United States and make that the new norm. So thanks again for all of your help out there in Illinois, and we wish you the best in getting the laws changed out there.
Hey, thank you so much.